SpaceX is suing to dramatically reshape the National Labor Relations Board. Oh my God, I hate Elon. I wouldn't. This was kind of like inevitable anyway. Thanks to Joe Manchin and Kirsten Sinema, Democrats won't be controlling the NLRB until 2026. So it's not going to do anything anyway. We're basically undoing, I would say, 80 years of labor rights in a single presidential administration. Didn't Donald Trump literally tweet, if you spend more than $1 billion in America, then you're exempt from all regulations or something like that? Can somebody get that tweet? That was a good one. Senators voted 49-50 against a 5-year term for McFerrin, the NLRB's chair, with Kirsten Sinema and Joe Manchin voting with almost every Senate Republican to block it. Oh, the best part is that Kirsten Sinema actually has not voted in like 3 weeks, not since Thanksgiving. So more 3 weeks-ish. She missed a bunch of votes and then just came in for this one, you know? Really, really doesn't want workers to have their rights because she's bought. Yeah, there we go. Any person or company investing $1 billion or more in the United States of America will receive fully expedited approvals and permits, including but in no ways limited to all environmental approvals. Get ready to rock. Basically saying, like, if you're wealthy enough, you just get a free pass on approvals and permits for regulation. Yeah. Remember when she dramatically voted down something in a Senate session? Yeah, I remember what it was. It was raising the minimum wage. One of the most actively anti-worker senators. Yeah, bought. This is the arc we're on right now, and the reason we're on this arc is because it's correct. We are in full-on like class warfare. America is descending into naked oligarchy. The artifice of democracy is gone. We must now recognize when you see politicians who just suddenly and out of nowhere shift all of their positions and become militant advocates for inhumane dog shit. They lie constantly when they didn't before, like Kirsten Sinema or Nancy Mace or John Fetterman. It's because they've been bought. It's because like either AIPAC has a video of them kid on Little St. James, or somebody gave them a bunch of money or told them that their family's going to get whacked, or they just already believe that and somebody told them that they can just go out with it now. That's it. Like, that's it. It's just it. There's no, we are past the age of sincerity. We are past the age of like, well, we can change their minds. The reason that this is happening is because the powers that be, the capital class, have organized an unprecedented amount of wealth in constraining the potential outcomes that you can reach within the democratic system. This has nothing to do with people's sincere opinions. You know, we have to accept and acknowledge that. To be fair, now that the artifice is gone, I feel like we're a step closer to what, though? That's the question. Well, this is, and I've used this one before, what historians call the cool zone. So it's just over, isn't it? No, actually, the entire world used to be ruled by the ruling class with no democracies at all. And then we entered another cool zone, and then you had democracies. Even within our own democracy, you had numerous cool zones. The cool zones, they've happened before. A private equity billionaire I spoke to in private once says he thinks a good 30% of humanity needs to die off. Not even an uncommon opinion for people in the ruling class. They're all John Galt wannabes. You probably would get the exact same opinion if you talked to a landed nobleman in like 1719 France or something, you know? Like you could strike up a conversation with them in like the, you know, like a courtyard or something next to a fountain, and he would tell you about how, in his opinion, the ruling class has gotten too loud, or sorry, not the ruling class, the peasant class has gotten too loud, and how the world could do well without many of them, and that they're parasites and so on and so on. Like it's just we're going back to the old days, okay? We're bringing it back. Maybe if we bring it back far enough, we'll get good men's tailoring again, but somehow I doubt it. I feel like this time we're getting the bad men's tailoring version of the cool zone. Your desires are never going to be realized. No good fashion ever again. Suffer like G did. Hey, listen, okay? You can still thrift some good stuff. I had a lot of fun walking around outside with my vintage M51 field jacket issued in the Korean and early Vietnam War. Thank you, thank you. Got some tears in it, but no bullet holes, so it's not a haunted jacket. Orwell was right. The elite would rather the entire world be a shithole than have less inequality, but they're richer along with the rest of the world. Yeah. Like they will make, this has happened so many times along race lines, class lines, gender lines. Make the world worse for everyone as long as the group of people you dislike have it worse than you. 80 House Dems just voted in anti-trans legislation. The National Defense Authorization Act, which enacts the first federal anti-LGBTQ law in decades and targets the trans kids of military service members, just passed with 80 Democratic votes. Yeah, it sounds about right. 281 to 140. It's tacked on to the typical military spending bill. It's the consequence of the way, oh, hey, Doge, I've got a big juicy target for you. Nearly $1 trillion a year in defense spending. Gonna cut that one down? I don't think the Democratic Party survives this administration. I mean, doesn't matter. The Democratic Party is barely different from the Republican Party insofar as they keep enabling. Like, again, the capital class has really turned the cranks on Washington, okay? The screws have been tightened to a near breaking point, all right? Like, the Democrats have walked back all of their social positions. They're no longer like militantly pro-immigration or anti-racist or pro-LGBTQ rights or whatever. It's because ultimately, like, whether or not their general predilection is progressive or reactionary, all of these people are subject to enormous pressures, all right? And the pressures are twisted. They're twisted, all right? What are the details on the, let's see. The legislation restricts gender-affirming care for children of service members and halts funds for the teaching of critical race theory at military academies. He said the House Republicans, quote, gutted the DEI bureaucracy with the bill. Oh, I bet. But yeah, the Democrats are not likely to push back against the administration that much. Not at the federal level, at least. Oh, right, and the NLRB lawsuit. Yeah, there's a lot layered in here. That's right, that's right. Oh, whatever. The NLRB is going to be controlled by the GOP anyway, so it's unlikely they'll have any real power. Can I get a better article on this? Carrie Lake is too loud to have a prominent position in the new party's 80s. Literally wrote the article, thanks, Vosh. You wrote this article? You wrote this? You link in your own damn articles? You trying to get my clicks? Are you David Herman? Gonna out yourself like that? Pretty much. Pretty much. Walking it back, huh? Well, what has your article got? Words. You should have known. Respect the hustle? No, I respect the hustle, not anti-hustle. We're all going to have to be on our hustle. Really just a matter of the proportionality, time invested to outcome here. There's a lot to talk about. Vosh, it makes me unbelievably angry that the Dems are going to sign my rights away because they think cooperating with the GOP in doing means they're taking the high ground. It's partly that, but it's also that none of them really believe in anything, okay? Like, the point of these politicians, the ones that get DNC or GOP backing, are that they're spineless little worms who can be twisted to the purposes of the people who give them the money that they need to keep those parties running, you know? We're talking about, like, people who are brought in based on their usefulness. A lot of the people in the GOP, MAGA included, don't give a fuck about trans people. Trump doesn't give a fuck about gay or trans people. He obviously doesn't. He doesn't care. He doesn't give a shit. He's been doing sex parties his entire life. He's trans women. He does not care. He pretends to care for the culture war. A lot of Republican politicians are like that too. They're all playing a game at the top. A lot of Democrats don't really care either. But because they don't care, because they're spineless in this regard, they can take stands when they think they're given, like, the freedom to. Right now, they're certainly not. It's a unique blend of people being, like, cowardly, insincere, and people having the screws tightened on them, like, a lot. You know, I'm telling you right now, there has never been so much money in politics as there is right now. Maybe it would have been a different game like 20, 30 years ago before Citizens United. But now that there's basically like an unlimited tap of money that goes into every election, basically impossible to directly track. You know, the super PAC and everything gets laundered through this company and that. Now that everything's like abstracted, so much money's dumped into it, it's all like there's no real. If you went back to the 1970s, 1980s, 1990s, 2000s, you would find a lot more politicians whose political careers are dictated by their actual beliefs. You would have a lot more people who campaign on a thing they believe in, get into office on a thing they believe in, run accordingly, and then like leave when their term is up or when they no longer get elected or when they decide to, to call it in. Yeah, even the bad ones. There were a lot more people back in the 1950s, 1960s. There were sincerely pro-segregation politicians and sincerely pro-integration politicians. And my argument today is that you have very few of either. You don't have many sincere racist or transphobic or bigoted or whatever politicians, and many sincere anti those things politicians. You just have politicians. There are some people in office who care about things specifically, but for the most part, I think they're just bought in. One of the good examples here, Nancy Mace, who right now is pretending to have broken an arm because somebody like shook her hand hard or something like that. You know Nancy Mace? She's the one who tweeted 400,000 times about Sarah McBride, the incoming trans rep. You know Nancy Mace was like a progressive a few years ago? Not shocking. Yeah. She's a professional self-victim. I mean, she's just looking to get like a career out of it, you know? We got our Lena Khan FTC replacement from Trump. Trump's pick to replace Lena Khan as FTC chair pledges to take on big tech and wokeness. We'll miss you. We'll miss you, and I like your earrings. Andrew Ferguson. Ferguson? That's a name that is the same as a city that I remember from like 2015, nearly a decade ago. That's why these fucks can't come up with any good explanation on why they've shifted. That's actually a really good point. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's an excellent point. Yeah. There are so many politicians that have just randomly whiplashed in all of their positions, almost always from left to right. And they never have a reason why. They never explain why. There's never like a process or them like reconciling with or grappling with. Keep in mind, these people are all adults. We're not talking about people changing their positions when they're 16, 17, 18, even 25. A lot of these people are like 40, 50, 60. It's pretty uncommon for people to rapidly change their stance on anything at that age. Less neuroplasticity, you've had more time to develop your opinions. You know, you have more like inertia in having those opinions, but they never explain why they've changed their minds, you know? Like Fetterman's a great example of this. Yeah, Nancy Mace is a great example of this. Kyrsten Sinema has not offered a word of explanation for why she campaigned as a young bisexual progressive, left-leaning Arizonan senator, and then seemingly overnight became not only like a reactionary, but like a loud, obnoxious reactionary. You know, like, you know, attention seeking for being a reactionary. Why? They got bought. They're not going to waste a bunch of time concocting an excuse. They know it doesn't matter. They don't give a No, I don't want those either. I don't want more why I left the left videos from these motherfuckers. I'm just saying it's like, that is not organic. There is, to my mind, I can't think of a single organic instance of a person just shifting all their views like that as a grown adult who, again, is in a position of power based on their pre-existing political views. Sometimes they literally try gaslighting by saying, I've never been a progressive. Well, I remember Fetterman doing that. It's not like a slight shift on tax codes or something either. It's a total 180. Dude, literally, look at Nancy Mace, okay? Just like, to use her specifically as an example, because she keeps making herself. She supported Trump in 2016, condemned January 6th. In 2021, she said she's a supporter of both religious liberty and gay marriage. She said she, quote, strongly supports LGBTQ rights and equality. Again, Republican. Oppose the Equality Act. You know, if you know, you know. If you remember, you remember. Instead, co-sponsoring a Republican alternative called the Fairness for All Act. Vote for the LGBTQ Business Equal Credit Enforcement and Investment Act. The lone Republican to sponsor HR 5776, Serving Our LGBTQ Veterans Act, legislation establishing a center for LGBTQ veterans within the Department of Veterans Affairs. The one Republican voted in favor of the Respect for Marriage Act, which protects existing same-sex and interracial marriage under federal law. She later said if gay couples want to be as happily or miserably married as straight couples, more power to them. Trust me, I've tried it more than once. Based on ironically. And then, a blink and you miss it, 2 years later, she tweets 400,000 times about how she, you know, her pussy shouldn't be in the same room as a trans woman's penis, and how, the respect, like you have to protect women from trans women, and like this massive rigmarole. And all of this was after her blowing up and drawing a ton of attention over the tenureship for the House Republican Speaker business with Kevin McCarthy. Did you see her forget to switch to her burner account? Yes, I saw this. It's really funny. Yes, I was physically accosted tonight. More to come. Oh, sorry. More to come. Oh no, what happened? A pro-trans guy out of Illinois assaulted her, and it's her. Again, these people don't believe anything. They're allowed into power. They're chosen to be candidates for power because they don't believe anything. If they really believed something, they would be difficult to manage from the powers that be. Career politics and its consequences? No, this would be Citizens United and its consequence, I think. The fact that I've literally never seen that tweet before goes to show how we are. Well, it's only a few days old. Also, now you're making me worry that it's fake. I've seen multiple people talking about it. Nancy Mace, fake burner account. No, okay, it's okay. It's being talked about. It's not just one screenshot. It's not faked. Okay, nice. Can they recall Nancy Mace for lying during her campaign? No. Mainstream media isn't covering it though, of course. What's there to cover? All these politicians are liars? Yeah, no shit. It's not even a Democrat-Republican thing. Like, the Democrats have been lying through their teeth about Israel in particular, nonstop for, you know, well over a year at this point. Like, very obvious, like, literally, like, a bunch of guys who have received 7-digit amounts of money from AIPAC telling you, like, you know, every criticism of Israel is anti-Semitic. They don't believe in anything. To be fair, we need mainstream media to openly call this shit out more. Mainstream media is paid by the same people as the politicians. Like, we're talking about the exact same financial. Why would they do that? That's the whole point of the cycle. It's their job to not do that. Yeah, it's like saying sunshine is the best disinfectant, but it's night, and also the sun is owned by, you know, Elon Musk, and he's pointing it the other way.